The Second Amendment, The Right to Bear Arms by Evan and Hanna.
In the United States, our rights are protected by the Bill of Rights, which include 10 amendments to the Constitution. The Second Amendment protects citizens' rights to bear arms. Specifically, the amendment gives the right to a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right to the people to keep and bear arms. In modern times, the Second Amendment allows citizens to feel protected and secure wherever they go if they feel necessary.
Some pros of the Second Amendment are decreasing chances of criminal attacks. Studies show that criminals retreat 55% of the time when people draw their guns for self-defense.
In 2008, the landmark case between the District of Columbia and Dick Anthony Heller took place. Heller was a police officer in the District of Columbia and filed a lawsuit against D.C. for not allowing him to possess firearms in his home. He argued that the Second Amendment should allow him to bear arms as a means of protection, was also against other restrictions placed on firearms. For example, if firearms were personally owned, they had to be stored unloaded and also with a trigger lock. Heller argued that these restrictions were counterintuitive, as they would render the firearms to not be readily available in times of emergency. The Supreme Court had to decide whether the Second Amendment could apply to self-defense or if it was limited to military or police forces. In the end, the Supreme Court ruled that the amendment could be interpreted as a means of self-defense in a 5-4 decision. As a result, on June 26, 2008, the Supreme Court repealed the part of the Firearms Control Regulations Act of 1975 that required firearms to be kept unloaded and secured with a trigger lock.
The hypothetical absence of the Second Amendment would have its benefits and downfalls. First of all, without the Second Amendment, Heller's lawsuit would have been completely dismissed, leaving him vulnerable in times where self-defense would be necessary. In extreme situations, his security would be compromised. However, all of these downfalls would be in rare occasions, and the benefits are much more promising. The absence of the Second Amendment in modern society would prevent citizens with bad intentions from obtaining firearms. In turn, this would lower the rate of murders by guns, ultimately making the U.S. a safer environment. An example of a country that has set strict gun laws is Japan. Japan does not allow the citizens to possess guns. Due to this, the fatality rate of guns is nearly zero.
And you know that too. That's why he came back and told me that, yeah. Because he did come back. He told me that, yeah, because, don't be scared.